bloom where you are planted, or wherever life takes you, and you will be amazed how quickly the years fly by. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for sharing your time with us tonight.
Not often you see two CEOs kiss each other, but anyway. Where's Jim Biddle at? Nobody ideas. Anyway, we've asked several people, we talked to people who like to come speak. One person we asked was Dr. Ed Kraft. Ed? Yeah, my grandson just raised his hand to speak. I don't know. He come up and take my place. Thanks for letting me be here and comment a little bit about microcrafts. I've had the luxury over a long period of time seeing microcraft in multiple facets, and I'd like to share that with you. I just started working at ADC as a co-op student when I was 8 years old. And, ran original tests with the Wright brothers. So I wanted to do that. From the time I first showed up at ADC until the mid-90s, the clear understanding of the quality of products that came out of microcraft. And that was Charlie Bo's legacy. He started at ADC, learned from there, and then went on to surpass it. So that constant. Many times I saw microcraft hardware in our test facilities out there. But then in 1995, it's one time you have to challenge the judgment of Dan Brand, is they, somehow left field, actually were awarded the ADC contract. And they were dumb enough to choose me as their general manager for a year. And then, lack of foresight, we collapsed that contract, but I decided to stay with microcraft because it was an exciting place to be. Jim Mitchell and I were working down there with Dan, and from 95 to 2001, I worked with microcraft and the digital company. But really exciting times. I still remember distinctly in Dan's office, Jim Mitchell and Dan, the late Little Field and myself, standing there saying, "This exporting food thing. Do you think we ought to do this?" It's unheard of for a small company to take on leadership. And I'd like to tell people we surrounded the aerospace industry that way. And that's a testimony of the flexibility of microcraft. We made a command decision, or Dan made a command decision real time before it was standing at the scope work. Yeah, we were too dumb to realize you weren't supposed to do that, but we did, and we succeeded. And then we had follow-up activities, doing some strategic planning for growing the company. And that worked really well. So as Brandon Dan left and the company changed, it's time for me to change positions, and I took a position as a civil servant at ADC as a chief technologist. So up to a year and a half ago, I was doing that. So I got to see again quality of microcraft products coming to ADC constantly. About a year and a half ago, I retired from the Air Force, went over to the UT Space Institute as their director of research, and I'm still connected to see every day with microcraft things. There are two major areas that the UTSI is pursuing this group right off the strategy of the Department of Defense, or hypersonics and autonomous systems. We're knee deep in both of those, and microcraft's right there with this week. It just recently completed. Everybody hear me okay? Or
it's for TV.
Oh,
Just like set it there, yes, sorry.
Okay. So anyway, hypersonics. We have a very aggressive program at UTSI, really advancing the state of the art fundamental research. And one of the things we got funding to build a new hypersonic wind farm. We did return to help with design and fabrication of microcraft. And they've delivered those products, and we're now shaking that wind tunnel down, and we're so good at that, we just got the next bunch of funding to go build Mach 7 hypersonic design phases, and so we expect to see right back, go right back with microcraft and look for that success. We're also working with Tom Robinson and Ken and other leaders in this area. One of the things we lose sight of is this area, the Tullahome area, is the center of this state in aerospace sciences. We have more knowledge and depth and technical skills in this than any other part of the state relative to aerospace sciences. And now we're trying to leverage that. working with Tom and folks at the airport and Microcraft, looking at how do we compile our skills in testing autonomous systems with all the capabilities at the airport in terms of flight testing, research, and XPS services and companies like that. So that footprint again of community interactions and then having Microcraft there is that long-term supplier capability quality. That's just profound in our community. So you live in a remarkable community. Who would think that a small southern town in Middle Tennessee, you're the epicenter of hypersonics. And so Microcraft is a big part of that. So it's been my privilege to be affiliated with this group for many, many years and look forward to many, many more. Thank you.
Okay, there are several of y'all who knew Mr. Folk and also worked there. I'll give you an opportunity if you'd like to share a moment or a story about that. Anybody like Ray or Phil, you want to say that?
Let me just speak for here if I might. And Dr. Kraft did a great job of looking forward. Let me take a minute and look back. 50 years ago this month, I became an employee of Microcraft. I was the first person hired after Fran's father was killed in a ladder crash. When we look back and we think about the bends in the road and the fork we take, I'm just glad I took that right one at that time. But I look at these pictures up here and I see the footprint that I placed on a lot of models that went out that door. It makes me proud. And when you look back, you'll have the same attitude about putting your fingerprint on that hardware that you're building today. So Microcraft, keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to being around another 60 years. Thank you for the great job you do.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. If not, I'm going to take a Fran's playbook, and when they do retirement, Fran, like I say,
Think of one word that describes that person. Say, I pay attention. Andy, I pay attention. My wife's surprised. Anyway, but I was searching for the one word, and the word that came up was courage. And here's why I use the word courage. It took courage for Mr. Folk to start a business. He had a good paying job. He started the business in his own garage. That was tough. It took guts. It took courage for Miss Evelyn to keep the business going with the support of the employees as now a widow and single parent. That took guts. For Dan and Fran to leave careers to venture into aerospace defense industry and keep Fran's parents' dreams alive. What y'all do? Y'all left careers to come back home to go. The family. Encouraged by the employees as the company shifted ownership in 1999 to Allied Aerospace Industries Incorporated into Orbital ATK in 2003. Turbine aerospace market. Aerospace is not flat. It is up, down. That's these guys. That's most of us who are thin in hair, that's the guys that work in Microcraft. So that's why we have thin hair, or no hair. Encouraged by the employees to purchase the company from Orbital ATK and become the employee stock ownership plan ESOP at 100% and basically started new in 2011. The more I've dug into ESOPs, it is unusual for a company to start out as 100% employee owned. They usually start out owned by an investor and phase into employee ownership, 100% employee ownership. Microcraft is 100% employee owned. Encouraged by the employees and the board of directors to recently purchase the facility and restructure the company to upgrade the facility and purchase new equipment to prepare for opportunities in the aerospace and defense market. We with our partners, First Division and South Central City Development District, they helped us restructure the company. And we are out buying and bought new equipment. We were actually talking at the Chicago Trade Show a couple of weeks ago because of the $1 million piece of equipment we bought to make us unique. I listen to Dan too. You're surprised I listen to you too, Dan. But Dan said, you need capabilities. We went out and we're buying unique capabilities to make us different in the aerospace industry. One thing that most people don't know about, but it's been documented, especially in the D.C. area, anywhere between 10 and 25% of the aerospace defense supply chain has disappeared since 2010. That affects our ability to defend this nation. Microcraft employees have had the guts and the courage to keep going on, to persevere. Is it easy maybe go find a different market? Nope, that's not us. We stayed into it and kept fighting, and we're continuing to grow. So that's the courage to it. Special thanks to Dan and Frank. Y'all still members of the family. I contact y'all quite a bit. I go over every place. I was over there today. Fran walked in, Chad and I were crying. She thought we were having an emotional moment of the 60th anniversary. We were talking about the ball game table. We're going to start counting tomorrow. We've got a group race. Then there's continued support of retirees. If y'all please stand. Retirees, if y'all please stand. Retirees, my friend. Now you raise your hand. Jim Mitchell. You guys, y'all help keep me grounded, y'all help also keep the stories alive. Whether they're right or not, we still tell the stories. Some of y'all are legends over there, so don't let me down. Somebody ask y'all a question. Like I say, quite a bit, I talk to you guys. We'll call them Ray and keep names Brown. I'll call y'all crying, and you'll reach it. So I stay home. So that's, but they're very good. And love our retirees and love them to come back. Then also Tullahoma and Coffee County Industrial Boards for assistance at the purchase facility. Thank you guys for that. And the South Central Tennessee Development District First Vision Bank for supporting Microcraft as an ESOP, and also has during our expansion and growth. Jim and Roy are a big community. They've been our partner along the way. And we'll continue to make you guys proud. And then Mayor Curley and Board of Alderman for this event. So thank you very much for this, and we look forward to continuing partnership with the Tullahoma Community Partnership. Thank you very much.
So, I don't want to let the evening get by without personally thanking Dan and Fran Markham. I mentioned earlier they're philanthropists and they're great community activists, but just as one small small perhaps to them, but large to the citizens of Tullahoma, donated the land that the new police station is going to be built on up behind here. And their fingerprints are on so many good things that have happened in Tullahoma over the years. So appreciate both of you and the work that you've done and the legacy that you've built, and we'll try to live up to that. So let me ask the Markhams and Ken, if you would, to step to the podium, because we by the authority vested in me as mayor of Tullahoma, do hereby proclaim this day as Microcraft 60th Anniversary Day in Tullahoma. Offer congratulations and continued success on behalf of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and all area citizens. To me, one of the most interesting things, I can't even pronounce, much less understand all the things that Microcraft does. It's way beyond me. But I do understand that the pole the flag is on the moon was designed and built at Microcraft. Is that correct, Mr. Markham? Well, can you step to the podium and tell us how that happened, please, sir?
I said I would not follow Fran. Yeah, there's an interesting story. Just about every planetary body that man has ever traveled to has hardware on it that was built by Microcraft. Even the Viking has ion thrusters, which take ions and thrust them. So the Viking is still traveling outside the solar system by hardware like that. And some of that hardware has the initials of some of the craftsmen that sit in this room and others, just because we knew nobody would inspect it after they got it together. But one of them especially is the flagpole. We had a contract with NASA at Johnson Space Center, and as part of that, we supported a lot of the activities, or many of the activities that went on by the crew that operated the astronauts. And Carl was managed that contract for Johnson, not Johnson. And as such, we were asked to build a lot of pieces of hardware. There was space flight hardware. We didn't always know what hardware it was because it was not really was classified. It's that NASA wanted credit for doing it. They didn't necessarily want the contractors to get that credit. NASA's thought of as a program management, they're thought as a technology entity in the United States. So it was, it was NASA that wanted to have the astronauts fight for them. We in fact built those components. We didn't do the final assembly, but all the components that went on the flagpole, as well as a little buggy that was pulled behind the rover that was built by Microcraft, as well as thousands of pounds of hardware. All the moon rocks that were retrieved from the moon are stored in cabinets today that were built by Microcraft. So there's just a thousand stories that go along with these things. We don't always know what we were doing. We turned on a shop, it had to be turned to a certain dimension, it had to be cut off, had to be assembled, and it would be used for some purpose. But it's the people, and often misspoke or apparently get credit for doing that. And I think it's a little bit reversed. I think it is those craftsmen in the shop, and the draftsmen and the engineers that deserve all the credit. They're the ones that did it. So the flagpole on the moon is yours. The United States, the flag is the United States, but the flagpole on the moon is yours. We'll try to keep it as good a shape as we can. Thank you.
So before everyone leaves, I want to do a brief introduction of someone. And Dr. Sullivan, if you would pay particular attention to what this young lady has to say and what her interests are, okay? So starting in the early 90s, we've had honorary aldermen. And it's typically a high school senior that has some interest in some activities out of high school government leadership or something. But Ruth Ann Terry is our honorary alderman tonight. She has her current classes are AP, which is Advanced Placement, Literature and Composition, AP, Calculus, Spanish 3 honors, CAD 4 honors, AP, U.S. Government and Politics. She has a GPA of 4.5. She is employed with the city government of Tullahoma as an aquatics leader at D.W. Wilson. She's an American Red Cross certified lifeguard, water safety instructor, and lifeguard instructor. She's involved in student council, Mayor's Youth Council, NHS, Mu Alpha Theta, Spanish Club, DECA, Skills USA. Her hobbies are dancing, swimming, tennis, running, violin, piano, quilt making, hiking, math, and Spanish. Very impressive young lady. So what I would like for you to hear is a little bit about what her college plans are and what she would like to do maybe after college. So Ms. Terry, welcome.
Hi. So I plan on going to college and majoring in architectural engineering. I have taken up to 4 CAD classes at the high school now, which is drafting. And I've gotten to tour Microcraft a couple times with them, so that's really cool to hear about that here as well as when I toured. And I'm interested in architectural engineering because I like the structural aspect, but I also like the design aspect. So I didn't want to just do civil. So I'm looking into doing that at some colleges now. There's only about 20 across the states that have it as a major, so just looking into that.
I just wanted you to hear that because 4, 6, so many years from now, we want her to come back to Tullahoma and get a job with Microcraft if she chooses and if you offer. So So again, everyone is welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. We're glad you're here, but if not, we understand. We're used to it. If you want to leave.
Testimony across the states, and I'm kind of looking through now, just trying to decide.
You said it feel like you said that.
Mr. Ryan. All right, just,
Well, get a bottle of water, you want?
yes.
Get some juice.
And I think they made it okay. Yeah, I think so.
I didn't even go when I was teacher. Why would I go now? They'll figure it out.
Dan, thank you. Chad, thank you. Good to see you. Did you want to talk?
No. That's great. Hey, that's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
We didn't even get water tonight, did we? There's water over there. Are there? I'll go get some. Well, you're back at administrator again? Okay.
So is that another girlfriend at some point along the way? Okay, you think we ought to get started? Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Hear.
Okay, we're going to get started. You know, the sign of a good leader is when people follow you. So, what can I say? Lift your chair up a little bit. I can't see you over there.
It's low. How do you get it up?
There's a button on the right-hand side.
Pull out, I think.
Where is our voting machines on it?
Okay. All right. Where is Winston?
It's edible.
Okay.
Want me to fix it?
Well, I need Winston anyway to take a picture. Hey, Winston?
I can't do it.
Okay, thanks everyone for being here tonight. I appreciate your patience as we recognize Microcraft and their 60th anniversary, quite an achievement. So at the end of that, I recognized Ms. Ruth Ann Terry for all of her accomplishments. So now I want to present her with her certificate, recognizing you as the honorary alderman tonight. Mr. Duncan, I always depend on you to start the clapping. Okay, so we've got two young ladies we want to recognize this evening. As you are all aware, we had state champions once again representing Tullahoma. Tullahoma resident Madison Doherty was named the Distinguished Young Woman of Tennessee and awarded nearly $6,000 in cash scholarships during the statewide scholarship program for high school young ladies held in July at the Dixon Center on Lee University in Cleveland. Also representing Tullahoma and did very well as the first alternate is Miss Kennedy Street. Both are with us tonight. I'm very proud of both of them. A little bit about the program. It was begun in 1958, and the Distinguished Young Women has impacted the lives of more than 765,000 young women. The organization's mission is to empower high school young women by providing scholarship opportunities, developing self-confidence skills, and teaching crucial life skills needed for success in college and beyond. So I would like to recognize both young ladies here at the podium. If you don't mind, step to the podium, and we want to hear a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the competition, maybe what you gleaned from the competition. So welcome.
So yeah, so we started our Distinguished Young Women program at the local level, and we have amazing directors on that local level, Joanne Crabtree, Karen Lawson, some names you'll probably recognize. And we were named the Distinguished Young Women of Tullahoma and Cumberland Valley. And then we went to the state program in Cleveland, Tennessee. And you want to talk a little bit about that?
So during the state program, it was such an honor to really even be there and just to be with all the girls and all the people there. And it was such an amazing experience. And really, I think what we both took out of it the most is really just watching the other girls grow and watching the other girls become family to us. And when we first got there, you know, we were kind of just friends. We didn't really know each other. And now we have lifelong friendships that we can always call them and text them no matter what. So I think that was something that we really brought out from it.
I think that's something that's also so amazing about the Distinguished Young Women program is it's not just about winning a medallion or winning scholarship money. Both of those things are great, but it's also about the experiences you get. You learn how to be in an interview. That's not an opportunity that a lot of high schoolers get. Sit down in front of a panel of judges and talk about yourself, talk about politics, talk about one side of the spectrum to the other, talk about everything, and to be able to walk on stage and answer a question, to be able to do a fitness routine, that's not an opportunity that a lot of high schoolers get. So I feel incredibly lucky that we have such an amazing program at the local level and the state level, and that we get to be representatives of that.
And I really just think that also being a part of this program, it really showed us to be our truly best self, and that's kind of what the Distinguished Young program is all about, is how to be your best self. And you know, we started back in January preparing for the competition at local level, and here we are now, and here we are today, and we get to go back even next year in July and continue to watch girls further grow up and become successful and accomplish things that they never thought they could accomplish before.
And I think a big thing to say, especially here at this meeting, is that I think us, you know, being the winner and the first alternate is an incredible
show of our community. I feel so lucky. Honestly think growing up in Tullahoma is the reason that I've been able to have the opportunities that I have. I've had incredible teachers and incredible opportunities that Tullahoma has given me and Kennedy. And Kennedy's only lived here a few short years, but I know she's definitely reaped the benefits of Tullahoma as well. And I think that's awesome, and I kind of hope to live here one day. Definitely would love to move back to Tullahoma one day, raise my kids here. I think it's an incredible town.
Yeah. Wow. How articulate and poised. I mean, that is incredible. Very, very impressive. So thank you for your kind words about our community, all of our community. So is there a next step?
Yes, there's a national program next June in Mobile, Alabama, and I will go with 50 other girls from every state for 2 weeks instead of just one. We get to be in Mobile, experience the same thing we've experienced on the local and state level, just on a bigger stage with more people, and I'm so excited to do that.
Of course, I'll be there to encourage her.
Yeah, we got a whole carload coming to Mobile.
My recollection is within the last 7 or 8 years or so, we've had a national winner representing.
Yes, Katie Brock,
Right,
or Katie Brock Bodak now,
Right,
but
right.
yeah, she was the Distinguished Young Woman of America for 2012 or 2011, I think. Yeah.
So what are you both seniors?
Yes.
Okay, so what are your plans after graduation?
I plan on attending Mississippi State University or the University of Tennessee. I'm still kind of undecided to pursue biomedical engineering and to possibly go to medical school. That's my plan right now.
And for me, I'll actually be graduating in December and taking a semester off to go on missions trips and travel and really reach out to communities that are not as fortunate as we are, because that's something I have such a strong passion for. And I will be hopefully be attending East Tennessee State University in Johnson City to get a degree as a nurse practitioner.
Wow. Very impressive. Very impressive. Well, we have a certificate recognizing each of you for the work that you've done, and the recognition is 2019 Distinguished Young Woman and First Alternate. So we're proud of both of you and challenge you to keep up the good work. And so thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments of these two young ladies?
Here.
I'd rather have the photo with just the medal showing and not the certificates. Okay, no, I thought there's
Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Good luck. We'll be keeping up with your careers and your work. Okay, now I wanted to do some of that preliminary so I didn't keep some people waiting. So we'll now start with our public hearing for ordinance number 1510, a text amendment to the zoning ordinance by replacing current Article 8 non-conforming structures and uses with proposed Article 8 non-conforming provisions. Anyone in the audience have anything to it later on this? Mr. Lawson, if you would step to the podium and just offer a brief summary on what the public hearing, I'm sorry, what this ordinance does, please.
This is like a house cleaning type of amendment. Current ordinance doesn't necessarily reflect the state law as far as how it addresses non-conforming uses and structures. So this is to get the ordinance in line with state law.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Lawson? Okay, thank you. So we'll close the public hearing and go into the regular meeting of the Board of Mayor and Alderman. First is the roll call. Mr. Hendricks, I saw you moving towards the door, and I got maybe a little nervous there. But,
Roll call.
yes.
Mayor Curley.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem King. Alderperson Blanks.
Here.
Duncan.
Here.
Dunn. Here. Noes. Mathis.
Here.
6 present.
All right, we have a quorum, so we'll proceed. We're very pleased that Reverend Lynn Hendricks is with us this evening. Ask that Reverend Hendricks please step to the podium. Ask everyone please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend Hendricks.
Honor and a privilege to be here on a day that microcraft would be honored like it was. A great member of the community, and I'm grateful for them. Let's pray.
Our God and our Father, we give you praise and thanks that our chests still rise and fall, that our hearts still beat within them, that our eyes see and our ears hear and our noses smell and our taste buds taste and we can speak. Though not everyone has all the senses, we're thankful for the senses we have. And Lord, I pray that we could use not only our senses, but we could use our minds as we deliberate. We pray for your wisdom to come upon us. I pray for the board of the mayor and the board and ask that you would give them wisdom, help them to ferret out mercy and justice, what is right. And we thank you for all this in the name of the one true God. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Hendricks. Appreciate you being with us. So we also are pleased that Chris Barstead is with us this evening. I'd like to, Mr. Barstead, do you want to say anything or just receive this?
I can speak for a moment.
Okay, you're recognized. We've got Public Power Week coming up next week.
We would like to thank all the citizens of Tullahoma, our ratepayers, and to tell them how much we appreciate them by having the ability to provide reliable public power, which is why we are hosting an event on October 2nd from 3 to 5:30 to let everyone know that we do appreciate them as ratepayers. And we do our best from everyone from our customer service to our line crews out there to provide them with the best service possible and keep our power grid in a strong and properly functioning manner. We also work hard, come to disasters. We have good relationships with our neighbors who come in and help us. And of course, we were fortunate enough to send a crew down to North Carolina, which is no small feat because we have such a reliable grid here. We don't worry about that as we can help. But yes, we just want to invite everyone to come out and enjoy pizza, ice cream, prizes, giveaways, meet the cheerleaders, get some face painted, we'll have some line demos, and really just appreciate the city of Tullahoma.
We're pleased to recognize next week as Public Power Week, and we'll present this certificate to you and appreciate your work. Okay, do we have anyone in the audience that wishes to speak at this time? Mr. Sandlin. If you would state your name and address, please, sir.
Yeah. Greg Sandlin, 112 Thomas Wood Chase. Mayor and Board, I wasn't planning on this, but it seemed like a good opportunity to give you a brief update on the Coffee County Public Building Authority. I was put on that board by the County Commission about 8 months ago. And I just want to give you a quick update. I did copy you all on an email last week, and there was a meeting I just came from today at 3 o'clock that kind of solidified some things. The Public Building Authority has quite a bit of authority, but the only building we manage now is the Manchester Coffee County Convention Center. And it has been a recipient of a lot of negative press as it requires subsidy by the county and Manchester citizens just to operate. So it has gotten some bad press, and I hope to help that process. But what happened last Friday, the 14th, there was a change in the bylaws. Historically, the former bylaws, the PBA board of 7 members would be two from Coffee County, rural, 2 from Manchester, 2 from Tullahoma, and then 1 at large. And the board, the PBA voted to change that to 2 from rural Coffee County, 3 from Manchester, and 2 at large. you notice the change doesn't include any Tullahoma designated representation. So I voted against that bylaws change because I think Tullahoma is 35% of the population. We pay at least 35% of the taxes that fund this conference center, so we should be represented. And the Mayor Cordell did say today that the 2 at-large seats would remain Tullahoma seats, but that's just because the county executive wishes that to be so. It's not in writing anymore. And it would take ongoing political influence to keep those seats as Tullahoma residents. So I just encourage you to, as you speak to Mayor Cordell, as you speak to your county commissioners, we've got one in the room who's from Tullahoma also, so that we just need to ensure that our Tullahoma citizens, our taxpayers, are properly represented on this county board.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, of course.
These at-large seats that are going to be Tullahoma seats, who appoints? Are they appointed by the PBA or?
They're appointed by the county commission. The process as it used to be, the 2 Tullahoma seats would be, there'd be a recommendation by the Tullahoma caucus of the county commission.
And we would appoint them, or?
Well, they would be appointed by the overall county commission. There's 21 commissioners, there's 7
Recommend them and then go
in
to the
Tullahoma.
commission that we approved.
But it's one of those deals where it's really the county executive's job to appoint, but he relies upon the recommendation from the Tullahoma caucus to do that.
We were confronted with that dilemma just recently, and we were trying to deliberate as to who would go on there, and then I found out at that time that Tullahoma was not included. The rules had been changed, so we did not. There was somebody already on there from Tullahoma. They didn't accept our recommendation. Didn't ask it for one, really.
Okay. Yeah, there's yes. Go ahead, Jimmy.
My question is, if they've changed the bylaws and taken us specifically out as we were 2 seats.
That's correct.
And they've made at-large seats, why did they change it? If it's going to be a gentleman's agreement where the county mayor says, oh, those at-large seats are going to stay Tullahoma, is that just, we're taking him as at his word? That's not written down in a bylaw anywhere, is it?
I'm not a lawyer, I'm an engineer.
Y'all are sort of like lawyers, though. Trust me.
I like engineers better. But let me say, no offense, Steve, I'm sorry, Steve. There's a lot of lawyers I really like. This is a legal question, and I can't answer that intelligently, but if I've got a copy of the charter for the Public Building Authority, I'm a member. It is the Coffee County Building Authority. It was founded and signed off by the Secretary of State as the Coffee County Building Authority. There's no connection to Manchester specifically other than as part of Coffee County. But what the current PBA board and what the current county attorney is arguing is that the PBA is actually a joint venture, and that Manchester and Coffee County are in it together as 2 entities. Yeah. I don't think that's true, but that's what the county attorney says. And because they're calling it a joint venture, and that's not the right word, but a joint deal with Manchester City and County, then they have to make the representation as close to 50-50 as possible. 3 to 4 is that outcome.
Is it not that that Manchester and Coffee County are the funders of it? They're responsible for the funding when it comes up short. I don't think Tullahoma we're not committed to being involved in that, whatever the shortcomings are.
As Coffee County residents, we are.
Well, I agree.
But no, see, that's the confusion. The PBA is separate from the Manchester Coffee County Convention Center. That's a joint operating agreement.
Right.
The PBA is on its own. It's a standalone. In the PBA Act, the county has run roughly $30 million of bond issue through the PBA. That's separate from the $4 million bond issue for the convention center. So it's a gray area. And, your lawyers work in the gray. But it's not too gray to me. It's black and white to me. But there is some gray and some interpretation. But I just wanted to take this opportunity as you talk with your county commissioners. Got a lot of new ones. Lynn Seaborn was in the room earlier. Dwight Miller is now a county commissioner. And they both are actually on the Budget and Finance Committee, which has a lot of clout, right, in our county. just, maybe Tullahoma citizens will be known. I mean, let's get proper representation on this board and in the county. We need to remind Tullahomans that they are part of this county. A lot of people don't get engaged in the voting process in the county, but they're paying the taxes.
Well, it smacks a little bit, and I told that, I replied to you that smacks a little bit of taxation without representation, which is, something we don't really
take
a shine on.
Until this point, until this change, Tullahoma has been appointing someone to that board.
The Tullahoma Caucus.
Right, Tullahoma Caucus
that's been accepted. Yes.
But I think what I'm understanding has happened is that since Tullahoma is no longer responsible for its shortcomings when they come up and can't make their budget, or when they run out, when they have to be funded. Tullahoma is not a part of that funding. As a county, as part of the county, we are. But I think the way they're looking at it is from that Manchester is doing it from the city itself. The county, which is they consider that rural. So they got rural Manchester, and they're saying it's all coming from that. But Tullahoma, as you said, is a part of the county. So that vote should be maybe Manchester, rural, and then the county, and which Tullahoma is a part of that county part. So I don't know how that would break down. You could, as far as representation goes.
I know I didn't plan on. I talked with Mayor Curley a while back about making a formal presentation on my role. I wasn't planning on being tonight. One comment on that. The conference center is located in Manchester city limits.
Right.
They make all the sales tax, hotel, motel sales tax revenue goes into Manchester.
Right.
I can't tell you exactly what portion of their sales tax is directly from the conference center, but Manchester cares a lot less about the conference center losing money because they're making all the revenue from its existence. So for them to have extra votes, have 7 on that board, just doesn't seem fair to me, and I think a lot would agree with me. That's all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I would like to hear the whole breakdown on that. I heard part of it from the chairman. I think she just went out. You got a new chairman in. You both new chairman in?
Well, we have Patricia Penninger is the current chairman.
Right. Okay.
And we're waiting for some other things to work out.
Okay. I got a good kind of a breakdown on how it first started, the initial plan for the money and how it was coming in and everything, and something changed back during the financial crisis and as far as the bond funding went, and I'd like to hear the presentation that it's foolish, though, as how it started out initially, the plans for it as it went along, and how it is now, and what they're hoping for with a new motel coming in up there out on the interstate.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that whole breakdown, but I haven't heard it yet.
Thank you.
We'll all understand better by and by.
Anyone else in the audience wish to address the board this time?
I want to clean up a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. That's my specialty anyway at home.
Welcome.
My wife's an attorney, as this gentleman knows, so you know how that goes. On the discussion of the facility in Manchester, I do outdoor shows across the United States, anywhere from a size of 1,000 people attending to 100,000 a day. I'm a vendor. I look for venues. That is a perfect venue for that sort of activity. In fact, I'm working now with several groups to do just that before Halloween, sort of a trick-or-treat plus mostly treat for the taxpayers. The question becomes, how can we best utilize the facility? Holiday Inn built a number of these facilities across the United States. I'll be in one October 6th and 7th in Bristol, Virginia. The estimated attendance of that outdoor show will be 7,000. And they will pay to come into the facility, they'll buy gas, they'll buy food, and they'll lodge at various locations, as will the 250 vendors. I would like to see this done on a quarterly basis here in Manchester. And having attended so many of these shows and seen good shows, bad shows, and no shows, I know how to produce and bring in a good show with quality vendors from throughout the United States. I'm not just talking, your average. We won't allow Chinese goods there, period. My uncle fought them in Korea, so that's a no-no in my book. Right now, I'm volunteering on this gentleman's campaign. Everybody knows who he is, and the likelihood of that campaign is pretty much decided. And I hope to bring an event for him here to Manchester before the campaign is over. Well, we're talking about in the event facility. Well, he's been here. He'll be in Winchester on Thursday. Yeah, I will. I've already talked to them about renting the facility. They're asking $3,000 plus an event insurance fee, the whole 9 yards, and we're gonna have to negotiate that because I like to see that facility filled every weekend with some different views. On weekends, mostly on Saturdays, they do weddings, which are fine, and that's a good appropriate place. But they've got empty time all the way across the calendar, and there's no reason for that facility to lose money ever. Well, that's all I want to say. My attorney's sitting here, so I'm going to move out of here and let you get on with your meeting. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not an attorney.
Not yet. You're thinking about it, but I think you just decided not to be. Okay.
She needs your name and address for the
Patrick
record.
Hales, I own Duck River Game Calls.
And I did not get your name, sorry.
Hales, H-L-E-S. Patrick.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We're never here because we're on the road doing business. But that's, as Calvin Coolidge said, America's business is business. Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we will proceed. We're ready for board reports. Mr. Mathis.
No report tonight, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Duncan.
Thank you, Mayor. I did attend an event at the Manchester Coffee County Conference Center, and I did get kind of a layout of pretty much of how it was funded. There is a better presentation. I think that we all would be well served if we could hear it. And I asked the current president of that group to come before the county commission, consider coming before the county commission maybe, and even maybe us, but to give everybody an up and up on just what's going on and how it looks like it could get better. I do believe it from what I heard from her. I did attend the mayor's monthly meeting at the D.W. Wilson monthly heads meeting, the industrial board meeting. Participated in the city cleanup. We had a good day there cleaning up. I did yesterday. Had an event at church, but then I had another event over in Shelbyville where we honored two gentlemen who have been a part. One's from Shelbyville, one's from Lynchburg, and they're both in city government in both their own localities, but they have both contributed for 40 or 50 years to the well-being of citizens in Coffee, Franklin, Bedford, and surrounding counties. And these gentlemen, there's a gospel group that they've been a part of, and I've been a part of for over 40 years. And that just seems like it just, yesterday when it happened. But they have kept young minds, pulling young people in together and in a Christian environment, and made good things happen over the past 40 or 50 years. And a lot of people are much better off as a result of it. So we honored those two gentlemen yesterday, and I did speak on that occasion. I attended the police department's promotion service. I could get that in a minute up here, and that was a great event. And we really appreciate our men and women who serve every day to keep us safe, and I let them know how much we appreciated them. I tried to anyway. So it was a blessing to be here for that. That's pretty much the gist of it. I've had 2 or 3 other things in there, but I don't recall it.
Dr. Blanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since our last meeting, my outside meetings have included a policy meeting. Me and Mr. Northcutt and Mr. Skelton sat down and went over some housekeeping things. At the TUA, I've also had a planning commission meeting as well as a Duck River meeting. Duck River meeting, we had our auditor come in, present our audit. It was clean. They said everything was hunky-dory there. Traveled up to East Tennessee last Saturday night and saw a massacre, but I'm still breathing. But pray for my volunteers. I would like to encourage everybody to shop Tullahoma, and that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ball. Ms. Dunn?
The boys and I picked up some trash with the community, the trash pickup. That was great. So thank you, Public Works, for putting that on. That was really a lot of fun. And my boys enjoyed it for about 45 minutes for the time that we were there. So, then we've got Wednesday. I've got a group going to meet at the farmers market. We're going to be giving away compost bins and recycling bins. I had a constituent say we want to bring this to the people, so we're doing that, and I thought that was a great idea. So Miss Carol Fulmer from ISWA is going to be joining me for that, and Renee Trad from the Community Garden is also going to be joining me. And this Saturday is our Master Recycling Program, and many thanks to the CFC folks, the Rice family, for sponsoring that this Saturday at 9 o'clock. We're going to have, we've already got several folks signed up for that. And I've been really very thankful. I've got a lot of volunteers who are helping me. We're doing right now we're on the phone, but we're going to be going door to door soon. We're just going down a list of businesses and individuals who are receiving extra bins, trash dumpsters or whatever. And it's been really, really nice how people have said, I've really been meaning to get a recycling bin. I just haven't done it. Thank you very much for calling. So it's been very positive, and many thanks to the people at Public Works for helping me with that. And it's been it's just been really, it's good to go from something that's a wouldn't it be nice kind of thing to actually going out and doing it. So that's
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Dunn. Mr. Norris.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I participated in the cleanup day also along my street. It looks better now. As far as recycling goes, our office is in a very active mode of doing recycling work. The students there are taking the initiative to ensure that we don't toss plastic bottles away or aluminum cans away. They're doing a great job with that.
This is at UTSI.
And also, thank you for the opportunity to be back on the Planning Commission. I did attend their meeting last Monday.
Good. Good. Thank you. Ms. Terry, anything to add? Anything you're involved with at the school?
This week we have homecoming festivities, so we have dress-up days every day. Today was pajama day, tomorrow will be toga day, and so on. Our theme is Disney, and we are playing Nolansville on Friday night, so come out and see festivities.
Good, thank you. I want to remind you that at the request of a citizen in Tullahoma that we're in the process of informally adopting Swansboro, North Carolina, to assist them in their flood relief efforts. There have been a number of items requested. I've spoken to the mayor of Swansboro, John Davis, and he's very appreciative of Tullahoma's efforts to assist their community. It's a small community of about 2,600 people on the coast of North Carolina.
Do we randomly select them? Will they select us? Or?
No, what happened was a citizen here in Tullahoma approached a minister here in town who reached out to me and said, what do you think about helping out with this? So that's how it happened. She was not from that area, but she was familiar with the area. And her concern was the larger cities on the coast were being taken care of. It was the smaller communities in the rural parts along the coast that were not, she was concerned not being taken care of. So you may be aware of a tragic accident that occurred Thursday morning when a child riding a bicycle to school was struck by a car on Avoca Road. The child was taken by life flight to Vanderbilt. I've spoken to the child's father several times, and the child is now home, improving and in good spirits. He has lots of doctor appointments ahead of him, but hopes to return to school after fall break. I would swap places with the child in a second if I could. All of us have observed streets around schools that need sidewalks or sections of streets that are missing sidewalks. We can and we should do better. Accidents like this are preventable. The bond we passed recently included money for sidewalks. I have asked City Administrator Moody and her team to study the area around each school and make suggestions as to what streets need sidewalks. Sidewalks are expensive and time-consuming with easements, construction, etc., but that is no excuse. As I said, we can and we should do better. Mrs. Moody will have her recommendations soon. I urge all motorists to slow down when they see cyclists and remind the cyclists to always wear a helmet. That was a tough day last Thursday. So, I'm pleased to announce that the City of Manchester and the City of Tullahoma's joint community transportation planning grant proposal was selected for funding in the amount of $99,788. We will soon receive a contract. My recollection is, Mr. Brooks, is that we're responsible for 5% of that. Is that correct? Do you recall?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, 5%. So this is a good thing. So congratulations. Okay, we're ready for the city attorney's report. Mr. Worsham, please, sir.
Office, and I think it's a wonderful thing, and I try to encourage everybody I know to do that, because I think also I think it's going to have a lot of positive effects in the long run. I also participated in the cleanup last week, and if everybody did that, did their part, well, we wouldn't have to do it as often as we really should. I read the article in the newspaper today about the Public Building Authority, and that kind of concerned me a little bit, because I feel like a lot of times we're not as concerned and not as active in county politics and county matters as we should be. So I sent an email to Gary Cordell, not a city attorney, but as a citizen, and I had copied Greg Sandlin. I had no idea he was going to be here tonight, but if you all would like for me to look into that matter a little further, I'd be happy to do that. I began that today, but am not prepared to kind of report to you all about that. But it concerned me a lot, because I do know that our tax dollars that are paid into the county can be used to fund some of those, cost overruns that they have there. So we do have a dog in the fight, and I'll look into that for you if you'd like me to do that.
Sure. Good.
Just a verbal report, that's fine for next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Moody's not able to be with us tonight, and so we've got a blast from the past with us. Mr. Paul Blackwell, representing our city administrator tonight. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple changes to your agenda. On page 2, item number 10. It's item number 18146, certificate of compliance. That should read a retail package store for the Carroll Street Liquors at 307 East Carroll, as opposed to the Publix retail wine that was handled at the last board meeting. And then also on page 3, which is item number 3 of your beer board, it has the name Miss Michelle Mercer. That's a corporate name, and we generally like to have the local manager's name listed there, and that should be Mr. Timothy Hastings, and he is here tonight. And that's going to be the manager of Publix.
Very good.
And that's all, sir.
Good. Thank you. Okay, so we will proceed. We're ready for the consent agenda. 18-140, minutes of the September meeting. 18141, August budget summary, general fund. 18142, approve the Tullahoma Police and Fire Department's participation in the annual community calendar publication. 18143, approve a request for special community event signs for Coffee County One Day of Hope charity. 18144, set a public hearing for zoning text amendment to Article 5, by adding neighborhood commercial district C3. Item 18145, set a public hearing for zoning map amendment number 224, rezoning property at 700 William Northern Field from I1 to R3. And that's all. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Duncan, second by Ms. John. All those in favor of the consent agenda is presented by vote yes.
Uh-oh. Didn't pay the light bill.
Are the mice not behaving?
That help, are you got it?
We should be. All right, one more.
Need to vote again?
Yes. See, lights. Okay.
There we go. Well, I voted for Ms. King. I pressed the wrong button. It reminds me of legislative days. So let's clean the machine and let's vote again. All those in favor of consent agenda, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 6-0. And you are sitting here, but there's nothing up there.
Yes, you were there.
Yeah. We got one item of old business, 1511, an ordinance of the City of Tullahoma, Tennessee to amend the Tullahoma Municipal Code of the City of Tullahoma, which is ordinance number 1425 by text amendment to the Administrative Hearing Officer, Section 12-1601 for passage on the second and final of two readings. As it said, this is the second of two readings. We earlier had a planning, heard a report and passed appropriately. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Proper motion by Mr. Mathis, second by Dr. Blanks. Is there any discussion? All those wishing to vote for ordinance 1511, vote green. Opposed, vote red. Motion passes 5-1. We have any other new business, Mr. Blackwell? I suspect not.
No, sir, there's not.
Okay. We have a couple of new items. 1510, an ordinance of the City of Tullahoma, Tennessee to amend the zoning ordinance, which is ordinance number 1392, by replacing Article 8, nonconforming structures and uses with the new Article 8, nonconforming provisions for the passage of first of two readings. We earlier had a public hearing and a report from Planning and Coast Director Lee Lawson. Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Dr. Blanks, seconded by Mr. Duncan. Any discussion? All those in favor vote green, opposed vote red. Motion passes 6-0. Item number 18146, certificate of compliance, retail food, retail package store, Carroll Street Liquors, 307 East Carroll Street. This is a state requirement for the housekeeping. Is there a motion to approve 18146? Motion by Mr. Mathis.
Second.
Second by Ms. Dillon. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of 18146, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 6-0. Very pleased to announce the appointment of Ms. Emily Seal to the Tullahoma Arts Council for a 3-year term. We'll make sure that that is documented, and we'll appreciate the offer. Any other new business?
No, sir.
All right, we'll adjourn and go into the beer board portion of the agenda. First is the consent agenda. We have BB 28 minutes of September 10th. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Duncan.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Mathis. All those in favor of the consent agenda vote green, opposed vote red. Motion passes 6-0. Next item is 18 BB 29. Beer application off-premise permit, Timothy Hastings, doing business as Publix, Tennessee, LLC, number 1613, 1600 North Jackson Street, 340, Tullahoma. Welcome, Mr. Hastings.
Thank you.
This has been a long time coming, folks.
Yes.
So, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
First, have you received a copy of the beer laws of Tullahoma?
Not yet.
Okay. If you do, when you do receive those, if you have any questions, reach out to Ms. Golden, to my wife, and she'll be able to answer I'm sure any questions that you have. You understand the sale of beer is a very serious responsibility.
Yes, sir.
So, what does Publix have in place to assure that beer is not sold to people it should not be sold to?
Intensive training every year, starting off every cashier, every manager in charge, anybody that does the cash register, we have about a 2.5-hour computer-based training that's set up to complies with the state to sell beer and wine. They do it. Then every year following that, when that time expires, they have to be recertified to do that.
Okay. So
we also have what we do like in-house beer checks. So we'll go from store to store with minors, seeing if they can pass. So beer, wine, alcohol, and lottery tickets. So,
What about tobacco?
yes, tobacco.
So I've been doing this a long time. I've never heard that before, where you have your own compliance checks. That's pretty
We do it every month.
Or every month. Wow. Cool.
You win the prize.
But I'm sure you also have some kind of point of sale, that you check licenses and things like
Yes.
that?
If an item is scanned, it'll prompt the cashier to check ID. We check ID for alcohol on everybody, no matter the age. Tobacco is, I think, if they look over than 30, we don't have to check, but alcohol and anybody, everybody.
Ms. Gold, is everything in order from your standpoint?
Except for that, because this is still under construction, a motion has not been made yet, but it will be needed subject to test in the final final inspection.
Motion to approve, depending on final inspection.
Second.
Question.
Some blanks and most of them are not. Yes, sir.
When do y'all expect to open?
October 31st.
Halloween. Welcome to our city.
Excited to be here.
You're not having a special on eggs that night, are you?
Yes, I'm currently in Brentwood right now. I've been every Publix and Rowan County. Right now I'm in Brentwood, so live in Manchester, born and raised in Deckard, Winchester area, so
welcome home.
Excited to be in Tullahoma and servicing the surrounding community. So.
You know you're going to be swamped, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Looking forward.
You will be.
Any other questions of Mr. Hastings? All right, we've heard a motion and a second. No other discussion. All those in favor of the motion as presented, vote green. Sorry you had to wait around.
Oh, no problem.
Meetings aren't drawn out this long. Motion passes 6-0. Any other business?
No, sir.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Appreciate it.